Storms and a high around 85. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's the 4th of July mattress sale going on now at the Sleep Center. Stop by the Sleep Center and you can save up to $500 on all Tempur-Breeze mattresses. Tempur-Pedic, made in the USA. And available at
Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
Whether you're an experienced investor or first-time buyer, Beach House will provide you with top-notch service to guide you through every step of the process. We make the real estate process fun and easy through effective marketing, strategic advertising, and always a client-focused experience. From single-family homes to full-scale developments, Beach House Sales Development has you covered. Check them out at beachhousesalesfl.com or give them a call at 850-919-3500.
The call to serve. So I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community. Because that is the promise I made. That is what it means to be a Marine. Semper Fidelis. Always faithful. Always Marine.
It's the 4th of July mattress sale going on now at the Sleep Center. Stop by the Sleep Center and you can save up to $500 on all Tempur-Breeze mattresses. Tempur-Pedic, made in the USA. And available at
Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
WGSX Lynn WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, we're taking the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I love it.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Friday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City Beach, and all of the hot but beautiful Bay County areas, all the beaches, all the rural areas, all the cities, the metropolises right here in Bay County. And of course, we appreciate you tuning in to 104.3 on your dial. But you can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. We are streaming live every day, the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9, Inside Drive right here from 11 to 1, and of course, your afternoon underdogs coming up from 4 to 6 p.m. You can also download that free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do for that is search up 104.3. It'll pop up right there for you. You can take us anywhere you go, and if you got Alexa or if you got Siri, just ask them to open it up, and it'll pop up right there on your screen. Glad my Siri didn't open up when I was doing that. And of course, you can head over to ESPNPC.com. Click at the top of the screen, Scorpion TV. With promo code ESPNNW, it's only going to cost you $45.08 a month. That is for over 5,000 live streaming channels, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, NFL Network, Red Zone, and even your pay-per-view events. And of course, it's got local network channels from all over the country, including right here in Panama City Beach, so you can find all your regional and local news information all across the country. A lot of us have moved from other places, so if you want to see what's going on in your hometown, you can certainly check it out. And of course, you can watch up to 5 devices at one time. Head over to ESPNPC.com, code ESPNNW, $45.08 per month. The countdown continues on September 4th for the NFL. 68 days, 12 hours, 57 minutes, and 25 seconds and counting. Getting ever so closer, almost about 3 months. So looking pretty good. 3 months here next Friday, the 4th of July. Well, we will not be on the air next Friday for the 4th of July holiday. Celebrating our Independence Day and maybe checking out some fireworks somewhere, but not obviously in the middle of the day, but maybe in the evening. Speaking of fireworks, Navy Base putting on their normal show. It's coming up tonight, 8:30, 8:45, but talking to Commander Mosey the other day, given it's the Navy's 250th birthday, he says the show, that he's been ordered to make sure the show is absolutely spectacular.
Hey, you know, he will take care of business. That is a great commander there.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. College football, we're waiting to August 23rd. That's 56 days, 12 hours, 56 minutes, and 30 seconds and counting. It'll be right here before we know it. You got to have Scorpion TV to make sure you can watch all the collegiate and NFL events that your little heart desires. David? Just the two of us today.
Yeah.
Just the
two of us, man.
We do have Keith Fleming coming up at 11:20. We didn't get a chance to talk about the NFL rookies that he believes are going to make a big fantasy impact. If you listened to him last year, he knocked it out of the park with Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. So be interested to hear what he has to say. And of course, it's Friday, so coming up at 12:20, we will have Aaron Bearden. The poop cruise we talked about yesterday, the old Carnival Triumph. Learned some fun facts this morning about that. That is indeed a ship Beth and I sailed on in 2018 before it was decommissioned.
So the actual ship?
The actual ship.
Nice.
And even more ironic is back in 2000, my parents and I went on a cruise, and it was on the Carnival Triumph. So lucky I dodged. And we also found out a couple of our friends, they went on it in 2011. That's real close to 2013 when the incident went down. The funniest part is...
Wait, when did you go on the cruise?
2018.
So
it already had happened.
Oh.
And I don't know what they did, but had we known a little more about this whole situation, probably not going on that cruise ship. But it was funny. You know how New Orleans has a very distinct smell when it's hot and it's in the summer? We went in early May, still very hot. And we just thought that the smell on the ship was like the New Orleans smell getting into the ship.
Blaming New Orleans.
Lo and behold,
7 years later, you find out.
Man, life is wild. That is for sure.
You went on the cruise 7 years later afterwards, and then you find out
5 years later, 2013 to 2018.
Yeah, someone else went on it.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, okay.
The McDaniels. Gotcha. Howdy and Amanda.
Oh, still did they?
It was prior.
Yeah, they went prior, so totally
I guess
different.
they dodged a bullet there. That would have been a story and a half. Oof. Yikes. But anyway, just wanted to bring that up again because, and I was looking through my Carnival app on all of our cruises that we did. We've only done a few. And I was like, boom, Carnival Triumph, 2018, May 7th. Whew.
What a triumphant way to find out.
And then, of course, in 2 years later, they dry dock it and spent $115 million to renovate the ship, and now it's the Carnival Sunrise.
Ah, yeah. I mean, why didn't they think of renaming it the first time? That's, I guess, my biggest question.
I got lots of questions after we figured this out this morning, but, it is what it is. We survived. But, still a wicked story there. Again, I don't know how Carnival stock's doing at the moment, but I would imagine it didn't do too well after that documentary was released a couple days ago. Mentioned the countdown. Second round of the NBA draft went down last night. NHL draft coming up tonight and tomorrow night. I don't know exactly how many rounds are in the NHL draft. Do you know off the top of your head?
I want to say maybe 6 or 7.
kind of similar to the NHL side of things. They just go a lot faster, I think, if I understand.
I think we just pay less attention.
Yeah, that's true. Because a lot of these guys...
Because last year they did it in the Sphere.
Yes, that's right.
And so I don't think it was a short process.
Yes. I think...
But they might... It's 7 rounds.
Okay, I think they're doing it in the Sphere again this year, maybe? Question mark? Maybe not. I know they bounce around for cities, but...
I'll find that out for you.
But yes, the second round of the NBA draft went down last night. A lot of international guys in the second round.
Peacock Theater.
Theory. I like that.
Theater.
Where's the Peacock Theater?
LA.
Los Angeles. I guess the Kings are hosting it. Does a team host it or I guess it's because the NFL it's a city, not a team, but it's a city where a team is.
Yeah, there's definitely a team there in LA. So
the Kingaroonies. You had Rasheer Fleming go to the Suns with the 31st pick. Noah Pendra, another power forward. They're both international guys. And then Duke had another player drafted, Sion James, a strong forward. He went to the Hornets, and then Hornets have back-to-back picks. They took Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. He's a center. And then Janai Broom from the Auburn Tigers is now a Philadelphia 76er. Maybe a quote-unquote kind of replacement there for Ben Simmons when he I feel like Ben Simmons is hanging it up.
But he's been out of Philly for a while, going over there to Brooklyn, right?
Oh,
because he was drafted by
right.
Philly, never played there, then went to Brooklyn. He's somewhere else now.
Who was I thinking of? There's another guy on Philly that's always injured.
Joel Embiid.
Embiid, that's who I was thinking of.
Paul George is now kind of entered into that sphere, I would say, so... Yeah, but I mean, what's the kid? Edgecombe, I believe? No, that was who they got night one. Who'd they get last night?
The Sixers?
Yeah.
Janai Broom.
Oh, there you go.
The Auburn Tigers.
There you go.
That's what I was kind of saying. He may be able to kind of fill that mold. He is a center. Not the biggest center in the world, but certainly a strong and physical center. Adu Thiero. He came out of Arkansas. He's a strong forward. Went to the Lakers. That was I believe, their first pick in the draft. Maybe their only pick. Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee. Great guard there. He went to the Detroit Pistons. Cam Jones, a guard from Marquette, went to the Indiana Pacers. So nice little pickup there from the strong guard from the Marquette Golden Eagles. Elijah Martin from Florida, the big name everybody remembers in the national championship and their run to the national championship. He's a shooting guard from Florida. He went, looks like the Toronto Raptors logo. And then Micah Peavy, strong forward from Georgetown, went to the New Orleans Pelicans. Kobe Bray, a guard from Kentucky, went to the Suns. Maxime Reynaud from Stanford, he's a center, went to the Kings. Jameer Watkins, a strong forward from FSU, went to the... I don't know what that logo is.
What's it look like? Let's play guess that logo without seeing it. So explain that logo.
This is like the pyramid show. It looks like a basketball, but it's blue and red.
Wizards.
Oh, that's right. The Washington Wizards.
Hey, this is a fun game, bro.
Well, hopefully I got a few more that I don't know the logo with.
Absolutely.
But, there's another one there. Okay. So, Jameer Watkins. Brooks Barnhizer from Northwestern went to the OKC Thunder.
That's a fun name, and it sounds like he came out of Northwestern.
Yeah.
Brooks Barnhizer.
Yeah, he had a 4.0 and did really, really well in school, I'm sure, because you kind of have to up there in Northwestern. But OKC, hey, he may win a title in his rookie year. That'd be exciting to go to the team that just won the NBA title.
Yeah, especially with all the promise that they still have.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much staying together, so good stuff there. Rocco Zakarski, he is from overseas. He is a center. Amari Williams, he went to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Amari Williams, he's a center from Kentucky, went to the Celtics. Bogolajub Markovic is a power forward. He's from somewhere internationally. He went to the Milwaukee Bucks. Javon Small out of West Virginia. He's a point guard. He went to the... I can't really describe what that logo looks like either, but...
Well, you did good with the last one.
Yeah, well, you got it so quickly because of the
blue and the red.
The blue and the red. Yeah, this one is like blue, light blue, dark blue. Maybe another little color in there, and it doesn't look like any of the. I mean, obviously,
it's not the Grizzlies.
No, it's not the Memphis Grizzlies because we just did that a few. No, it might be the Grizzlies because the other one might have been the Timberwolves.
What?
I'm really good at this.
What site are you using?
I'm just on Bleacher Report.
All right.
Javon Small will go with the Memphis Grizzlies. Actually, I think you're right. It does kind of look like, because they only give half the logo.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of hard to tell on some of them. Tyrese Proctor, another guard from Duke. I think that was their 5th pick in the draft this year. That went from Duke.
Yeah, all their entire starting lineup got drafted.
That's pretty impressive in the fact that they, got.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see what you're talking about with the logos.
Yeah. And 48, round 2,
Gotcha.
48. You see that one?
This has just got the first.
If you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can switch to 2.
I see it. So 48, that is Memphis. Yes, sir. Yeah, because if you look
right.
behind the number, it's actually the entire logo,
Yeah,
but if you look behind the number.
And that one's so dark that you can't really see
exactly.
it. Anyway, Kobe Sanders from Nevada went to the... What's that one?
Ooh, that one's... that's the Clippers. That's
okay,
the LA
I was going to say, it looks like a cruise ship.
Yeah.
A Clipper is...
If you would have explained that one to me, no chance that I get that.
Yeah, and it makes... Because a Clipper is a type of ship. And that was Kobe Sanders out of Nevada. Mohamed Diawara, he went to the New York Knicks. He is clearly from overseas. Alex Tuhey, also from overseas, went to the Golden State Warriors. He's a strong forward. John Tonje, he was from Wisconsin, shooting guard, went to the Utah Jazz. Another pick there for the Pacers, a guard, Talon Peter.
I don't know any of our picks, man. This is the toughest thing about the draft. Like, how many names do you recognize?
Not very many.
No.
Some of the college superstars.
Round. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Hey, listen, the international part of the game is not slowing down.
And that just a good big part of it.
Exactly. But also at the same time, I think we are funneling back into like a superstardom in college basketball. So I can't fault guys like Cooper Flagg, but it would be nice. And Dylan Harper, how are you not going to go out if you're going to be the second pick? But it is nice when you get to know these guys in college basketball, like a guy like Mark Sears, for me personally anyways, and then going to the Bucks, I believe. So
yeah, a lot of players were signed after which is typical because it's not a huge draft.
Just 2 rounds. So he didn't even get drafted.
Yeah, several of the Auburn players, Miles Kelly, a couple other guys went. They signed after the fact. Will Reichard out of Florida, remember that name. He went to the Golden State Warriors. Max Shulga.
Hey, I think that's Will Richard, right? Because Reichard was the kicker from Alabama.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Thank you for bailing me out in that particular comment. But yes, Will Richard. Reading's tough for me. Everything moves around. But anyway.
No doubt. I just loved hearing Will. I was like,
Yeah, a little Alabama love there. And then Saliu Niang, he's a forward, obviously international. And then last but not least, another international player by the Memphis Grizzlies, Jamai Mashik. He's a guard. And there's also a ton of guys that got signed after the fact, but I'm not going to bore you with all that.
I'll say you did a phenomenal job with the pronunciation, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate that because that is, as everybody knows, not my strong suit, but I keep continuing to try to force the issue. A couple suspensions handed out yesterday on 2 different sports. We'll start with the baseball one. Wander Franco, the one-time Ray star, is convicted after underage sexual abuse trial. Down there in the Dominican Republic, Wander Franco, the one-time franchise cornerstone of the Tampa Bay Rays, bowed his head in a courtroom Thursday as a tribunal in his native Dominican Republic pondered his fate. He spent most of the final proceeding of his trial this way until a court clerk read the verdict out loud. Guilty of sexual abuse of a minor. Wando, 24, wiped away his tears. Look at us, Wander, said Justice Jacara Veras, on fire today, when announcing the conditions attached to Franco's 2-year suspended prison sentence. Do not approach minors for sexual purposes. If you don't like the people very close to your age, you have to wait your time. That's a profound statement there. Prosecutors had sought a 5-year prison term for Franco, whose suspended sentence means he will avoid incarceration so long as he adheres to the terms. The sentence also includes paying fines as well as the costs of the trial. By contrast, the victim's mother was sentenced to 10 years in prison, the maximum that prosecutors were seeking in the case, on charges of money laundering and commercial sexual exploitation of a minor. Whew, the mom, that is awful. The court said the mother of the victim exerted pressure and blackmailed Franco, whose future in Major League Baseball remains uncertain. It's not clear yet if Franco's conviction means his contract with the Rays could be converted from guaranteed to non-guaranteed and could eventually be terminated. I just don't see a world where he's not, taken out of the Tampa Bay Rays organization.
Oh yeah, he's done.
Or banned
he's done because he's got. I don't know if you mentioned it or not. I'm actually trying to get Scott Van Pelt on the show.
Ooh, nice SVP.
Well, he's got his break coming up, and he's responding to people on Twitter right now. So I'm trying to see what I can do. Anyways, did you mention his other charge as well that he picked up? So he got a gun charge.
Oh, no, it didn't say that.
Yeah. So he also got a gun charge a little bit earlier. So he's still got to go to court for all of that as well. But, yeah, he's absolutely done. And you never know what's going to happen with those type of cases. But at the end of the day, found guilty, yeah, that's going to do it for his baseball career. I mean, look at Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
And what he actually, there's a different, Wander Franco had potential. We know what Trevor Bauer can bring to the table, what he's still doing in other leagues, and that he was on the wrong side of what it seems to be a he said, she said, and he's still banned from the game, not officially, but by teams not going out and signing him. So I would say Wander Franco is done.
Yeah, no doubt. If Bauer's being blackballed the league, there's no way he's going to be playing in that. This was a story that kind of was everybody kind of knew about it. The former Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker, he was released by the team earlier this year. He's been suspended 10 games for violating the NFL's conduct policy. Former Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker has been suspended for the first 10 weeks of the 2025 regular season for violations of the NFL's personal conduct policy. The league announced that yesterday. Tucker, who was released by the Ravens following multiple allegations of sexually inappropriate behavior by a Baltimore area massage therapist, will be eligible for reinstatement on November 11th. I'm not going to go through the whole story. It's kind of been beat to death with this particular one. But apparently, I don't know what the deal is with massage places, but it just seems to be the common theme here in the league with Deshaun and now Justin Tucker.
It could just be I was going to say AFC North thing, but Cleveland did that. I mean, Deshaun did that prior to Cleveland.
Yes.
So
maybe just an AFC thing.
Yeah. There you go. But and his suspension, it starts August 24th or whatever, and it's 10 weeks, not 10 games, and he can serve the suspension without being a free agent. I mean, while being a free agent, not having to be on a team.
Gotcha.
So I think he'll end up getting picked up. But also there could be the fact this is a kicker, not a quarterback, and we know how valuable kickers get late into the season when one kicker's been struggling. But if the team feels like it's not that position is not important enough to deal with the blowback, which is sad. Yeah. Which is sad. Not for Justin Tucker is it sad. It's sad that, well, if we didn't have the PR disaster, we'd sign him. No, if you don't want him morally anyways, then don't sign him, period.
Simple as that, no doubt. Real quick, before we got to take a break, Cristiano Ronaldo, soccer name there that everybody certainly knows. For perspective, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has an extension he can sign this offseason, which would pay him $76 million on average per year. Cristiano Ronaldo just signed for more than triple that. Soccer money is up.
Yeah,
crazy thing.
Soccer money is crazy.
Ronaldo's new 2-year deal with Al Nassr, by the numbers, is a base salary of $224 million per year, $60 million worth of sponsorships, a $52 million signing bonus, plus a $110,000 bonus per goal, 15% ownership of the team. All of that added up with bonuses and sponsorships aside, he'll make $4.7 million a week just in base salary. That's some wild stuff there for Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
With that being said, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, Keith Fleming's going to join us for a special Friday NFL Rookie Fantasy Projections.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The Atlanta Braves are taking care of business.
Olsen around third. Here's the throw out of Taylor. Throw to the plate. A dive, and he's in there.
And tonight, the Braves return to Truist Park to stare down the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies. First pitch coming up at 6:15 on your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, likely thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 79. Tomorrow, partly sunny in the morning and then likely thunderstorms and a high around 85. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a fifth-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios.
Are you ready?
Celebrating 2 years of broadcasting history.
I love it.
It's the Best of Bay awarded Inside Drive on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Weekdays 11 to 1 with Ryan Mulvey.
Becky was on roids.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm excited. A special Friday appearance from the man, the myth, the legend, to quote James Hale. Keith Fleming on the line with us. Keith, how are you doing on this hot, muggy Friday?
Man, I am doing fantastic. How about those Atlanta Hawks fleecing the New Orleans Pelicans for a second straight year? Last year, we had the Dyson Daniels trade, which I think under any circumstances you would say the Hawks won that draft or that trade. And I mean, with the way that picks are now protected, it is shocking to see that we got a unprotected first-round pick from the Pelicans. It is not just unprotected from the Pelicans. It's actually whichever is better of the Pelicans and the Bucks. And I really think that could end up being like a top 5 pick because, the West is loaded. We know that.
Yep.
So the Pelicans are going to have a hard time, I think, making the playoffs or getting in the play-in, meaning that would obviously be a lottery selection. And then, let's say the Pelicans end up deciding they want to trade Zion. That's going to make them worse next year. Or if you look on the Milwaukee side where Dame is going to miss a majority of the season, they end up wanting to trade Giannis. Like in either situation, the Hawks may have just got a potential top 5, I think on the low end top 10 pick. And from all accounts, this next year's class is one of the best draft classes in years in the NBA. So I'm giddy, man. Like, I can't believe that we're both going to compete right now. I think that they have a chance to be a real contender in the East with all the injuries and stuff, the Porzingis move, but also to be set for the future. It's just wild times, man.
Yeah, I mean, and to hear you with some happiness and excitement in your voice talking about an Atlanta sports team. I don't know. Is it a full moon out there the last few days? I don't know, but
they always got hope. They find hope one way or the other. You know, being an Atlanta Braves fan, we find hope for a couple of games against the Mets and then crash back to reality. So we'll see how this weekend series goes. But they get hope. In football season, it's about halfway through the season that the realization hits that, you know, hey, look, a Titans fan, it only takes about 4 games for the reality to hit.
Last year,
for the
quarter, or 3 quarters.
3 quarters, yeah. And then last year for the Hawks, what was, I mean, late in the season, that there was like,
But the Jalen Johnson injury and you know, the Hawks defense like just derailed him. He's arguably now their best player, and that's again why I'm so excited. Is, you know, Trey is what he is. He's a good player, but he's a liability on defense. But you would like to think adding Porzingis, Jalen coming back, Reece Shea was really good for a rookie. Dyson Daniels is one of the best defenders in the NBA. I see a blueprint where they're building a team around Trey that can limit his liabilities on defense and still be really good offensively. And, you know, just as a Georgia fan, I'm pumped that we took a Georgia guy. Newell, I know, has some issues with shooting. He's not a very good shooter for a 6'8" kind of power forward, but we've seen guys develop jump shots, so that could eventually be down the hopper. But the main thing is he plays big. And I think that he will fit in very well with Porzingis if you go with that front court at times where Porzingis can do all the things that he struggles at and vice versa.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited for you. I'm hopeful for you. And hopefully, maybe this is a little bit of a turning of the tide there for those Atlanta major sports teams and pro-market sports teams, I should say. But, Keith, I know we talked a lot of golf on Wednesday, as we always do. Didn't have a chance to jump into like we did last year. I think it was about this time you were starting to kind of project some of the rookies that you expect to have great impacts on fantasy football teams. Last year, you were spot on. Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers had awesome years and really helped, especially Brock Bowers, but Ladd did too, really helped people's not only DFS, but their season-long fantasy teams as well. So excited to see who you are going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to caution people that we see this in fantasy football every year where there's an overreaction to the previous season. And I really do think there's a chance that 2024 class was just really special. Like Brock Bowers, he's a special guy. Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, like these guys are special receivers. Jaden Daniels, exactly. And so I will say, be, you know, cautious and where you're taking these rookies. I do think there's some guys that are going to obviously make an impact, but like, for instance, I don't think there's going to be a wide receiver, a tight end, or quarterback who can match anything compared to what we saw last year. Honestly, like at the quarterback and wide receiver position, like say the top 4 rookie quarterbacks and wide receivers. The guy that I am most all in on, and you should still just go ahead and go get him, is the running back Ashton Jeanty going to the Vegas Raiders. I love what Vegas is putting together. Now, will they be a good football team? I'm not sure, to be honest, because the defense is still going to have issues. But huge upgrade at the quarterback position, right? Like Geno Smith is way better than Aiden O'Connell and the other guys that they were starting. Desmond Ridder at quarterback last year. And now you have Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, both good pass catchers, and you can pair them with a running back who is one of the best college football has ever seen. And what I particularly like about Jeanty, and I particularly like about running backs in general that are rookies, unless a rookie back catches passes, I typically try to avoid them because I think it just limits their upside, particularly that first year. And I think Jeanty's going to be involved both in the run and pass game. So, like, I'm okay taking him. Basically, it's like the 4th or 5th back off the board. And I kind of like him more than I do Barkley and Henry, only because we've talked about this ad nauseum. I feel like these running backs, they only have so many miles. And then there's going to be a diminish on returns. Now, granted, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are making me eat my words the last couple of seasons, especially Derrick Henry, who just seems to get better as he gets older. But time is undefeated. And I don't want to be on the wrong side of it, right? And I think we're getting to the point where, especially where you have to take Barkley and Henry, and with how little they catch passes, I would much rather have a Jahmyr Gibbs. I would much rather have a Bijan Robinson. And I think I would even much rather have an Ashton Jeanty. The quarterback position, I would stay away from altogether. I actually think Cam Ward is a very talented quarterback, and I like Tennessee taking him. I think that eventually he could be their answer and be a really good quarterback in this league. But I think that we're all kind of in agreement that it's going to be at least another year before that team takes a step. Now, that does mean, though, that, I like the pieces in Tennessee a lot more than I thought I would heading into this year. Calvin Ridley, I think, could end up being one of the top fantasy receivers in football because he's going to get targeted a lot, and he's actually got a quarterback who can throw him the football now. From the, other running backs, there are some that I really like. The first being TreVeyon Henderson with the Patriots. I think this is probably my favorite running back outside of Jeanty that you should be paying attention to. I know Hampton has got a lot of attention with the Chargers, and rightfully so with Harbaugh and his run-first mentality. But I just look at it that Ramondre Stevenson was not very good. Both running the ball and in pass protection. TreVeyon Henderson was an excellent blocker at Ohio State, an excellent pass catcher, and I see that New England offense being a little frisky. Drake May was really good down the stretch last year. They've added some pieces, and it would not surprise me at all if TreVeyon Henderson ends up being a top 15 back in fantasy this year. The other guy at running back that I really like and I'm higher on the most, again, a pass-catching back, is Cam Skattebo with the New York Giants. I think it's really coming into place what the Giants' objective is this season. They are going to have one of the better pass rushes we've seen in a long time. It really is scary the amount of talent that they have up front with Burns and Thibodeau, and, they just drafted Carter. They still have Dexter Lawrence. So I think you're going to see them lean on the run a lot with Skattebo and Tracy, and then play-action pass. And what I like about Skattebo is, again, he's one of the first backs, I think it's the first one since CMC to have 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in a college season. So I think if, say the Giants season gets a little awry and they're throwing more and they're down a lot, I think Skattebo is actually going to be the guy that benefits more than Tracy. The tight ends this year, I would really stay away from the top two guys taken. I love Lennon. I just don't like where they went. The Colts are a mess. The Bears have Cole Kmet and all these other weapons. And to me, why not just wait and you can take, say, a Mason Taylor, who is my favorite tight end for fantasy this season, because the Jets have Garrett Wilson. Obviously, they have Breece Hall. They don't really have any other passing options at this point. And Justin Fields is somebody who targeted tight ends a lot in his time in Chicago, and even last year at Pittsburgh in his 6 starts. And you can get Mason Taylor at the end of your draft. And obviously he has the talent, being picked in the top 60 of the NFL draft to not only, get the targets, which is what we're obviously looking for, but to really do damage with them. So I really like Mason Taylor. Same thing for Ferguson with the Rams. I think this Rams offense is going to be just a juggernaut this year. Tyler Higbee and those guys have just not been very effective the last couple of years. And I thought it was interesting that they went out and grabbed him, and now you're putting Ferguson as the third option behind Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Those guys are going to take a lot of the defense's attention. and I think leave a lot of room for Ferguson to be one of those guys that maybe early in the year he doesn't have an impact, but I think around the midway point, he's going to become a real focal point in that offense and really thrive. The receivers, to be honest, Ron, I would stay away from them. I'm looking instead at the guys that maybe are in their second or third year and have a bounce forward, or like what I'm saying, like somebody like Calvin Ridley, who is criminally underrated right now in the best ball drafts I've seen. Like, it still matters if you get targets and you have opportunities, and Cam Ward is unquestionably an upgrade to Malik Willis and some of these guys that the Titans have had the last few years, and Ridley's put up pretty decent numbers with those. Like, I would, if you have a real gut feeling about one of these wide receivers, sure, go ahead. But I would not be spending capital in the first 7-8 rounds of your draft on these rookie wide receivers. I would take guys that are either more established or maybe you're expecting to have that breakout year, like a Rome Odunze, right, who was pretty disappointing last year, but now Keenan Allen's gone. I expect the Bears offense to be much better with Ben Johnson, and he was one of the most talented receivers in a very talented receiver class. Same thing for Marvin Harrison Jr. I just don't believe that he'd be as ineffective as he was last year because he's just so talented. I would rather, if you're going to take chances on those guys relatively early than taking like a Ted Millen or something from Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that were high draft picks last year, and they just never really came to full fruition. And like you were saying, especially on the Bears, man, they've added filled so many holes on the offensive line. They lost Keenan Allen, and this is really the same thing with Caleb Williams. I mean, his first year he got sacked 8 million times. Hopefully this year it's not as
literally,
many. Literally. It was just sack after sack after sack. But anyway, I love that point. Obviously, we're talking about rookies, but at the same time, a lot of those rookies from last year are due for some big breakout years this year. So I kind of like where you're going there with the Bears and the Cardinals with Odunze and Marvin Harrison Jr. Any other guys that you're looking at? I totally agree. Ashton Jeanty should be a force there for the Raiders. I mean, again, you never really know until you watch him play, in a real live NFL game, because it's a different world, a lot faster, a lot more schemes to stop you and that kind of stuff. And, Tracy came on the scene last year for New York, and, I like what you were saying there. Tracy's more the guy that's going to probably get it on first down, second down if they're running, and then Scattaboo is going to be the guy getting the ball in the air, most likely out of the backfield.
Combo, I agree.
Kind of like the Sonic and Tails last year in Detroit.
Jaden Blue of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
And this is a situation where I think the Cowboys' offense is going to be really good.
Texas,
I love the addition of Pickens. And the thing is, it's who's in front of them. Rico Dowdle's gone. Tony Pollard, this is his second year gone. Like, Dallas kind of surprisingly let both of those backs go after having great years. And I'm sorry, I don't believe Javonte Williams is a starting NFL running back. And that's the one person in front of him right now that is going to eat into his opportunity. So that's exactly the kind of rookies that I love taking flyers on. Newton is another one in Jacksonville. We've seen Etienne and Bigsby really disappoint. A lot of people were very high on Jacksonville's offense this year. Like, these guys that are only one or two people behind on the depth chart from being the starting running back on a potentially breakout offense are usually the guys that I think are the best to target, because if they, like, say Jaden Blue gets that gig, I mean, Dallas, when Dak plays, the offense is excellent. Like, period. Like, you can say what you want about Dak, but the offense is very good when he plays. And if Dak has a healthy season with the addition of George Pickens, I expect the Cowboys to score points. Some running back is going to benefit from that because Dallas has historically ran the ball in the red zone. And I think Jaden Blue has a great chance to kind of take over that role and, be kind of a little fantasy breakout guy.
Yeah, no, I like it. I have a Jaden Blue card that was one of the, I forget which brand, but one of those, like, if he does a certain thing in that season, you can scratch off something and then you get something else. Unfortunately, he didn't hit what it was, but I paid a lot more attention to it than I probably would have had I not had that card. But anyway, yeah, I think that's a great addition for Dallas. Keith, you want to hang out for one more second? Maybe talk a little bit of golf, everything that's going on, maybe the Morikawa comments, all those things. All right. Well,
Jake Knapp shooting 59 after shooting even par.
Yeah.
Just normal stuff.
Pretty incredible stuff going on right now on the tour. But you are listening to The Inside Drive. We got Keith Fleming on the line. We will be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Dan Patrick Show.
10 years from now, when we look back, it's probably going to be Tyrese Halliburton. We'll remember because of the injury, how they had played. They forced a Game 7. OKC was the best team, but I think what the Pacers did created more headline conversation than what Oklahoma City did.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get ready to discover new adventures this summer and hit the road in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Stop by Bill Bird Kia today and test drive a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You'll find the perfect balance with comfort, safety, and technology. Now offering 1.9% APR up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. See us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $1,748 per 1,000 finance in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is the Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7725.
Is your restaurant looking a little tired from the long off season? Is your office a little offish? Start the new year off right by giving them a fresh start. Fresh Start Cleaning is now accepting new clients. Ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services. Fresh Start Cleaning. Get clean again with Fresh Start. Call 850-771-6917, 771-6917, and ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got Keith Fleming on the line for a special Friday edition of Mr. Fleming. You can follow him on Twitter/X at Keith Fleming, KeithFleming. Golf season still rolling on. Still got to check out his articles if you want to win some cash money. Tournament right now up there at the Rocket Classic, not the Rocket Mortgage Classic, just the Rocket Classic, is being led by a robust 14 under par. Charlie Kirk firing back-to-back 65s, followed by Mark Hubbard, who is currently at 13 under par, and then a few guys hanging out at 12 under par, including Aldrich Poltgeiter, Jackson Suber, Philip Knowles, and then it goes to a bunch of, so those guys are pretty well known that you guys all know out there. And then there's a host of players at 11 under par. I think the projected cut right now is about 5 under par, which when we talked on Wednesday, Keith, we knew this was going to be a birdie fest up there at the Detroit Golf Club.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, at least from the DFS plays, Keith Mitchell and Stefan Jager are killing me. And it's amazing how this happens that, I had a very small pool of, I think, 9 players. They were used outside of Ben Griffin in the most lineups. So I'm fighting an uphill battle despite, Harry Hall, Jake Knapp, Ben Griffin, Grillo, Cam Young, all looking like they're safe to make the cut and, potentially even be in contention. The good news is we do have Jake Knapp at 80-1 to win. Griffin at 22-1, and then Lee Hodges, who is 7 under at and started his second round, He was 100-1 to when we recommended him, plus 650 to top 10. So I'm hoping it's going to be one of those weeks that it looks like not going to be a big week in DFS, but the good news about golf is there's multiple ways to win money, and so hopefully we'll do so on the gambling side. But just Jake Knapp is a reminder of how weird and hard this game is, yes, even for the best of the world. Yesterday, I love Jake Knapp on this golf course. It's a course that you can bomb it. He's one of the longest guys on the planet, really good putter. And he had all of one birdie and one bogey yesterday, shooting even. And I was thinking, well, there's another guy that's going to miss the cut. He went out today and had, 9 birdies and an eagle on his way to a 61. So it's hard to fathom how even these guys' games can be so on and off one day to the next, but I think it just speaks to the depth of talent on tour right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
And golf is in a great place. Like, I know that we still got to figure out the LIV PGA deal, but, I mean, if you really look at these leaderboards, your boy Luke Clanton is 10 under through 15. He's got 4 holes left. Like, a lot of these guys are young. And even, like, the veterans, like, in this field, like Matthew Fitzpatrick, it's not like he's old. You know what I mean? The same thing for like Cam Young and some of these guys. So, also very impressive that yesterday, I don't know if you saw Poke Guider, the best strokes gained tee to green round in the last 6 years on tour.
Whew.
Bettered Scotty Scheffler's litany of rounds that he has on that list. Just phenomenal stuff. He actually did not putt well. He barely gained strokes on the green, but gained almost 7 shots on the field, tee to green in one round, which in layman's terms for people are like, what does that mean? That means that he was just hitting the ball much better with his tee shots and his approaches than compared to everybody else in the field.
Yeah, I mean, and that leads to a 62 out there. That is that is pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, golf is so wild, and I agree with you. I mean, especially on the PGA Tour side of things, I think it's in a great place because you're kind of having these new heroes, for lack of a better term. I mean, what Ben Griffin is doing this year, kind of, I don't want to say he came out of nowhere because he's always been pretty good, but I mean, he's just having
Yeah, I mean, really, from this standpoint,
a career year, and I just like watching him play. So I'm kind of turning into this Ben Griffin fan, and to see him kind of play really well week in and week out, and it'll be interesting to see how he progresses once we get to the FedEx Cup. But
and for those that don't know, he had an eye procedure.
Yes.
About 3 months ago, and it just, again, proves how little of a thing can make such a difference. Because to your point, he was a really good golfer, but he had not had a PGA Tour win. He's now won twice. He's played, this is his 6th event since the procedure. He's finished no worse than 14th in the 5 he's played, technically 6, because you also have the team event that he won. And you can just see it. We talk about this all the time, right, Ryan? Like, the confidence is such a big deal in golf. Like, what's going on between your ears, and you can see the swagger as he's walking down the fairways, that right now he feels like he can beat anybody in golf, and that is so much a part of golf that is different from so many other sports. Because, I'm sure, yes, there's, obviously levels to players, but I don't think that you can then have, a mistake mentally or being in a bad place in your head really affect the outcome. Yes, you might miss some free throws or make a bad turnover or whatever, but in golf, we saw it with Rory on the back nine at Augusta. Like, he was trying to throw up all over that back nine. Like, he was trying to give that tournament away, and that was just nerves, and it's what I think makes golf unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. You can just tell he's got a little bit of a swagger and that confidence that, like you just said, you have to have that in golf, or it's going to be really, really challenging. But yeah, Ben Griffin hanging out at 11 under par, 18-1 live odds. If you wanted to take the leader right now, you could get him.
Wow, he's only 18 to, because he was 22-1 to start.
Yeah.
So to get him right there, that feels like pretty good odds.
Well, I mean, and he's
if you did
only,
not bet him at the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, and he's only 3 back from the lead going into the weekend. Who's a good live one that would be good? Jake Knapp, 40-1 right now to win, and he's only 3 back and coming off a 61.
Hopefully you took him at 80-1 if you followed my cheat sheet.
Yes, Jake Knapp, Ben Griffin, Gary Woodland, all those guys hanging out right there. Good to see Gary Woodland there, too. I hope he has a good weekend, not only from a betting standpoint, but just be nice to see him get like a top 5 or something like that, because
I do like Harry Hall at 22-1. This is a course that really modeled out well for Hall. He is somebody who is the rare guy that hits it a country mile, but the strength of his game is actually around the greens and home. And I think that's going to play a big role this weekend. So I really like that bet. Hall's 22-1. You can get him also 3-1 to top 5. I feel like that's pretty good odds. And then again, Lee Hodges, who was somebody that really fit my model well this week, he's still 30-1. We had him at 100-1 at the beginning of the week. And then the other guy that I've not given up on, he shot 5 under in the first round. I just think that this is an event where he needs a good finish, and that's Matt Fitzpatrick. He's 40-1 right now with live odds, which that's actually kind of right around what he was
when he
to start the event. He was 45-1 before the tournament started, and his round has not started. So if he shoots another 5 under, to your point, he'll probably be 4 or 5 shots back, and that number will go down significantly. The only reason it's where it is because technically he's 9 shots back. But again, he has not teed off yet.
Yeah, Minwoo Lee, still the live odds favorite at plus 650, and he has not even teed off yet today. But if he can follow up his 9 under par round yesterday with even a 4, 5, 6 under par round today, likely could be the leader by the end of the day as the morning wave rounds are starting to finish up.
I slept on that one, Ryan. That's on me. Again,
I thought we talked about him on the show.
We did, but I mean, he wasn't on my betting card or even in my DFS plays, and I kind of missed it because he's somebody that hits it as far as anybody on tour. One thing I like about Lee and why I think he's going to be somebody that wins a major, if not multiple majors, he has a great short game. He's a really good putter. He's somebody that doesn't make a lot of bogeys, and he destroys par 5s. And that's what we talked about, right? That was the big thing for this week is you got to make birdies. You've got to play par 5s well. And then driver distance was a huge, huge advantage this week, and he's one of the longer players in the field. So to the people that did follow my plays and read my research this week, I whiffed on that one. I do not like his live odds at all. Again, I think it's going to be tough for him to follow up that. Yeah, you shoot 9 under, Ryan. Anybody listening is aware of this. You go out and say you're an 80 shooter and you shoot 75, that next round is usually not going to be another 75.
Yeah, because
right?
you push to make it another 75.
There you go. That's it. You put the expectations and stuff, and next thing you know, you shoot 90. So, Minwoo Lee is another one of these guys that I think could be a real star in this game. But the PGA Tour has to do a better job of marketing him because, where do you find Asian rednecks from Australia?
Yeah.
And that's kind of
how he's got a sister that's very successful on the LPGA Tour as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But just all the talent in the world. And he's another guy. I think he's only 24, 25 years old.
He's a young buck for sure. I just want to mention real quick, you talked about Luke Clanton a second ago, but I just want to say how close the level of ability for the top collegiate golfers are compared to a PGA Tour field. Kids just turned, I think this is his 3rd event as a professional, I think you said on the show, and he's 10 under par right now with 3 holes to go on his 2nd round, right there tied for 16th on a very easy golf course, a very easy golf course for everybody to score well on. So, sometimes you see these college guys when it's supposed to be like that, they're pushing, but there's not a huge drop. Again, the top-tiered golfers in college in Division I, there's not a huge difference between the level that you see on the PGA Tour and the level that you see at the highest level of college golf.
Well, not only that, he finished top 10 in this event last year when he was still in college. which is something
That's what's
cool
crazy,
that the PGA Tour is doing. Michael Lasasso from Ole Miss is there.
yeah.
Like they're starting to allow these kids that are almost assuredly going to get their card, right? Like, that's one cool thing about the PGA Tour is I believe it's the top 10 are guaranteed at least Korn Ferry status. And what they do, though, is they don't make them turn pro then. So, and that's what Luke Clanton did. He had actually already qualified to be a PGA Tour pro, but he was able to put that on hold. Same for Oberg a couple of years ago. Go back to school, play in some of these amateur events, play, in his national championship and for his team. And then that status is still, waiting there for him. And it's kind of shocking it took the tour this long to figure out, like, hey, we should use the college game as, another feeder tour, like on top of the Korn Ferry. And to your point, these kids are so talented. Like Jackson Kavanaugh is coming. And, I mean, that kid has got all the game in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he's just sitting waiting to declare to be a pro. I mean, what a peaceful, relieving feeling
right?
if you were in college, knowing that you've played so well that you've already secured your PGA Tour card through the programs you were just talking about, and then it's your decision when you want to activate that. I mean, talk about playing loose in college until you decide to turn pro. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Amen to that.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think the PGA has done a good job kind of connecting the world of collegiate golf to the PGA Tour. Now, obviously, there's some other ways to get to the tour, but it's about as hard as it's ever been with the way it all works through the Korn Ferry. I mean, they used to have qualifying just for the PGA Tour specifically. Keith, I appreciate you jumping on, talking a little NFL rookie fantasy football, talking a little golf again. Always a pleasure to have you on. Look forward to talking to you next Wednesday.
Absolutely, man. I'm a huge fan of the show. It makes me very happy that you're back doing something that you are as good as anybody in the world at doing. And just anytime you and David ever need me, I'm a phone call away, guys.
He's only one call away.
Yeah,
thanks, Keith. Thank you, Keith. Have a great weekend.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care. You guys listen to the Inside Drive live on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be back with our Friday edition of the Afternoon Delight Debrief.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Last night was a real gut punch. It was hard to stomach. This was the 8th Achilles tear this year in the NBA, most ever, and the 3rd in the playoffs, most ever. The NBA is on notice. Shorten the playoffs. They started 2 weeks before the draft, the NFL draft.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, likely thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 79. Tomorrow, partly sunny in the morning and then likely thunderstorms and a high around 85. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boyle House and Sports Bar. Your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boyle House and Sports Bar. 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Now back to the Inside Drive. Live and local from the Gulf Plus studios.
Skyrockets in flight.
And now, the afternoon delight debrief with the three degenerates from the Inside Drive.
Afternoon delight.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Skyrockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City Beach. Panama City and Panama City Beach. And we're getting bigger and growing, so stay tuned for even more coverage out there across the Florida Panhandle. You can also watch, listen, like, comment, subscribe, and share. That is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. We stream live every day. You can also go back and watch the shows and listen to the shows after the fact. Of course, you can download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search up. ESPNPC.com. That is Scorpion TV. Right there at the top of the page. Just look for the Scorpion TV logo. When you sign up, enter code ESPNNW. It'll only cost you $45.08 a month. You split that with another person, it's only going to cost you, what did I say yesterday, $27.04, something like that.
No, 27 would be 54.
Yes.
That would be 54.
2270
something?
72. I had it yesterday. I backed into it.
It would be like 22, like 73 and a half or whatever. Or not?
It shouldn't be a half because it's something six.
Well, to get to 8,
right?
Wouldn't that be 4?
2 4s, yeah. I think it was. Now I'm putting too much pressure on myself.
See, this is why in math. Well, yeah. Really smart people can talk math, but I need to be doing it. I need a pencil and a piece of paper.
I can usually back into it.
Or a calculator. Calculator, man. I'm just a lot faster with a calculator than my brain for some reason.
I think that's fair. I think most people fall into that category. But,
that's my afternoon delight debrief of the day.
Yeah. Well, they told us, you're not going to have a calculator all your life. Well, it turns out that was wrong. Just like the lights in the cars like we talked about the other day. Anyway, Scorpion TV, 5,000 streaming channels on demand, 10,000 movies, all the NFL, NHL, NBA, pay-per-view events that you could possibly want to watch. Again, code ESPNNW. That is only going to cost you $45.08 a month if you use that promo code. All right, let's dive into some afternoon delight debriefs. Don't forget, we are your home for the Atlanta Braves. Coming up after the afternoon underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m., you'll have the coverage starting at 6. First pitch, 6:15 tonight as they start a 3-game series at home against the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies. All right. We appreciate Best Way Portable Building.
Are they still leading?
The Phillies?
Because they got swept, and the Mets won 2 games, so it might be a tied division.
A tie? That's a great question. You would think I would know about that, but baseball's not my thing.
Well, Phillies lost early in the day, and then the Mets beat the Braves 4-0 last night.
And I know at one point the Mets had a game and a half lead. Yeah, no, the Mets and the Phillies are a half game back of the New York Metropolitans. Wild stuff here in 2025.
It's shifting a lot. I mean, you got the Yankees with just a half-game lead on the Rays right now. The Tigers pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
first team to 50 wins and kind of by a long shot to a little bit of extent. But you got the Dodgers right behind them. Man, you got some close races, but then you have some. Every race, though, maybe not wide open. I think the Central is the one that feels closest to having the door shut. But, yeah, a lot of great divisional races right now.
22-54. That's what it is. 22-54.
Dude, so I was doing the podcast with Kyle Wright and Drew Gorman and Tyler Spalding and DB Bassett. And the young guy who kind of runs the equipment is Kyle Wright's, I believe it's maybe brother-in-law?
Okay.
Anyways, or maybe a nephew type deal. Anyways, I couldn't remember his name. but I knew that I knew it, you know? And so I'm sitting there going through all of my mental files. And then, like, right before they're about to open the mics, I'm like, Jeffrey Cooper.
It's funny how the brain is just such an amazing thing. But, yeah, it'll be in there, and then you'll stop thinking about it, and it'll just pop in your head. That's exactly what happened. Jeffrey, Toys R Us. Jeffrey
or 2254.
2254. All right, this is nothing crazy, but actually a pretty nice thing. The Second Chance Act becomes the Second Chance Act. Florida becomes the first state to require EKG screenings for high school athletes. Local lawmakers are honoring the life and legacy of Port St. Joe football star Chance Gaynor. As y'all remember, during an away game last September, Chance Gaynor suddenly collapsed on the field and then unfortunately was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Wednesday night, Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Second Chance Act into law. The bill, sponsored by State Representative Jason Schoaf, requires EKG screenings for students wanting to participate in school athletics. Beginning with the 2026-27 school year, students in grades 9 through 12 will need a screening the first time they participate in interscholastic athletic competition or try out for a school sports team. Officials hope preventative measures like this will detect undiagnosed heart conditions that have claimed young athletes' lives. Florida becomes the first state to require EKG screenings for high school students. Interesting. I mean, an EKG, you just get hooked up, they measure your waves, all that stuff. So it's not that big of a deal. Hopefully it, won't be an increased cost with insurance and all that stuff. But, you got to get your sports physical before it starts anyway. So, but I just thought that was cool. And how many lives do you think that could potentially save going forward?
Right. Because a physical doesn't cut it.
No,
right?
Physical's not doing any, anatomical tests or anything like that. You're just, checking to make sure you're, able to play. But yeah, to find some potentially unknown diagnosed conditions, I think is pretty special. That is for certain.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're doing that, man. We always talk about these rules for player health and safety, and I love this measure right here. What I don't is who's providing this, because that when you say three letters like that and they're all capitalized, it sounds expensive.
Yeah.
So is that something that has to come out of the parents' pocket and their insurance?
That's a great question.
Because that's the thing. It's like, well, now certain athletes aren't going to be able to play because they can't afford that. And I don't like that, because if there's one thing I believe in when they use that term inclusion, it's sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I guess we'll find out here in the 26-27 school year. I would imagine that they wouldn't do something like that without having some kind of financial provision put into that. And maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but we will find out sooner than later. All right, I got an article from the New York Post. Oh, we do have a caller on the line. Who do we got out there?
Yes, we do. We got Mr. Glenn Gibson on the line with us. Go ahead, Glenn.
Hey, you're talking about the sports physical. That's going to change a lot of stuff, because I work for PanCare in the school system.
Yeah.
And we do sports physicals, but we are not going to be able to we do them at no cost to the student. We bill insurance, but that's going to change because we don't do EKGs. So that's going to change stuff.
It'll be interesting to see how they implement how it has to be done, because you would think that with coming up with this, they wouldn't inhibit people from being able to play sports. Obviously, if you have a heart issue, that may inhibit you from playing sports. But I got to imagine, because, sports physicals are always, regular physicals are always, one of those things that's covered by most insurance. So I got to imagine that there's some kind of way that they're going to make this happen, because, the EKG machines aren't just laying around all over the place at doctors' offices, especially pediatric doctors' offices.
It's going to raise the price too. It's going to raise the cost. It's going to affect a lot. Because I'm not going to be able to do high school sports physicals anymore. Now, if they expand it to middle school, then we could still do middle school and some elementary side stuff if they have football, because middle school is where it starts.
Yeah. You have to have your sports physical in order to play middle school sports. No doubt about it.
We offer them at school for no cost to anybody.
Nice. That's huge. I would hope, you would hope to implement something like this with a plan on how it's going to be, paid for and not make it a burden back to the parents. But again, it may save a few lives if you didn't know you had some kind of heart condition or something like that. And, so there's definitely some positives if they do this the right way.
Absolutely. Health and safety come first in anything. But it will change stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, I appreciate you giving us a quick call, Glenn. I appreciate you keeping kids safe out there that are trying to participate in sports in Bay County.
We do the best we can. But thank y'all. I just had that comment.
No, I appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Coach.
Where's he coach?
Well, he coached me. Flag football and baseball.
Nice.
So,
nice.
He was... he was a big part of our childhoods growing up, man. So, awesome. Great guy, and that's one of the cool things about being able to do this here in Panama City. Is you never know who's listening, and they tell you they're listening. You're just like, or they call in. You're just like, man, that is awesome, and it gives you the opportunity to see people that you haven't seen in a long time as well. Because there's other times where you see people that you haven't seen them in a long time, and it's not in the most fortunate circumstances.
Understand. This next one's from the New York Post. Brazilian hiker found dead in Indonesia 4 days after falling into an active volcano. Despite frantic rescue attempts. A Brazilian tourist trapped for days when she plunged off a cliff next to an active volcano in Indonesia was found dead Tuesday. After frantic efforts to save her were repeatedly thwarted by bad weather, Juliana Marinis, a 26-year-old pole dancing publicist, had been hiking with a group of her friends on Mount Rinjani, a popular tourist site in the Southeast Asian archipelago, which is a group of islands, when she slipped and fell about 490 feet down the cliff face Saturday morning, according to Indonesian authorities. As of Monday, the vacationer had slipped more than 1,600 feet. Initial screams for help from Marins were heard, and the drone footage showed her still alive after the first fall, but rescue crews were unable to reach her because of thick fog engulfing the volcano and other adverse conditions. In addition to visibility issues, the head of the local rescuers, Muhammad Haryati, said the young woman became trapped on soft sand, making it difficult to retrieve her with ropes. 2 futile rescue attempts were made, authorities said. After 4 days of work hindered by adverse weather, terrain, and visibility conditions in the regions, team from Indonesia's Search and Rescue Agency found the body of Brazilian tourist, Brazilian government said in a statement on Tuesday. It wasn't immediately clear when Marins died or if the workers were able to retrieve the body yet. The U.S. Sun said she worked as a publicist in Brazil, and her Instagram showed she was also a pole dancer. Her grief-stricken family said in a statement today, the rescue team checked the location where Juliana Marins was. With much sadness, we have to report that she did not survive. We remain grateful for all the prayers, messages, love, and support that we received. Sad story there, but obviously,
hey, the debrief comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It's everything.
Yeah,
it is
like the old hombre.
Yes, no doubt. But yeah, we cover everything. Here's one from 1982, but just came across this story a couple days ago. On June 24th, 1982, British Airways Flight 9, I guess there were a lot smaller numbers back then, flew into the darkness, literally and figuratively. At 37,000 feet above the Indian Ocean en route from London to Auckland, the Boeing 747 unknowingly entered a massive cloud of volcanic ash from Indonesia's Mount Galunggung. Galunggung, which is kind of ironic. There you go, because the last story was also a volcano in Indonesia. I don't think it was the same one, though. Moments later, one engine failed, then another, and then all 4 engines stopped. In the cockpit, panic could have taken over, but Captain Eric Moody took a breath and reached for the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. We are going to do our damnness to get them going again. I trust you are in not too much distress. That line would go down in aviation history not just for its dry British understatement, but for the sheer steadiness behind it. The aircraft began to descend rapidly, essentially going through ash-filled skies. The crew desperately tried trying their restarting procedures at 13,000 feet, just minutes from a potential ocean impact. One engine roared back to life, then another, then another. Miraculously, all 4 restarted. Despite windscreen abrasion, no engine thrust for over 10 minutes, and barely any visibility, the crew managed to land safely in Jakarta. Every one of the 248 passengers survived. Investigators later found that volcanic ash, completely invisible on radar, had choked the engines, causing flameouts. It was a terrifying first for commercial aviation and changed protocols forever. But what the passengers remembered most wasn't the ash, it was the voice. Captain Moody's composure under pressure became the model of leadership taught in flight schools and disaster response programs for years to come. He didn't hide the danger, he didn't sugarcoat the facts, but he remained steady and gave others courage to remain steady too. It wasn't just a flight that got saved, it was faith in calm under chaos.
Calm under chaos, man.
Calm under chaos.
I feel like sometimes I am calmer under chaos than what I am regularly like.
Hey,
you definitely are, boy.
You got to stay calm under chaos, right? What other, if you start panicking during chaos.
You've been around people who are not calm under chaos, right? And it's even harder then to stay calm under chaos.
No doubt. That is for sure. But yeah, what composure by the pilot, and what a miracle that all 4 engines, because you're falling straight down for that long. Whew, that's terrifying. That is terrible.
Bad time to bring it up, but who we just got done talking to, Glenn Gibson, his son Dustin, is a pilot.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Cool stuff there.
Yeah. Well, tied it all together.
Yeah,
full
there
circle.
you go.
I like that. All right. I got another one here. It is titled, Man Who Bet His Entire Life on Red or Black Shares Update 21 Years On from That Famous Roulette Spin. Most of us panic when we misplace a few bucks, but back in 2004, one man risked everything, and we mean everything, on a single spin of the roulette wheel. It's not just 50-50 for red and black either. Don't forget, you got the 0 green spaces too. Ashley Ravel, a 32-year-old from London, became a real-life high-stakes gambler when he sold literally all his possessions, from his house to his clothes, just to place one massive bet in Las Vegas. With over $130,000 in hand and a Sky One documentary crew filming his every move, Double or Nothing, anyone? I guess that was the name of the documentary. Ashley walked into the Plaza Hotel and Casino with one plan: go big or go home. Except, well, he already sold his home. So what was going through his mind as he stood at the roulette table with his entire net worth in chips? Speaking to Discovery UK years later, Ashley looked back on the moment that changed his life forever, and honestly, it sounds like something out of a movie. I was walking along trying to get some divine inspiration, he said, but I just wasn't getting that. No signs from the universe, no gut feeling, just pressure. Behind him, a crowd of family, friends, and curious strangers watched as he teetered on the edge of financial ruin or instant wealth. It was a huge, huge decision, Ashley, now 53, admitted. I looked around and thought, red or black, what am I going to do? I didn't know. One was the right answer. I just had to pick it. After the purest definition of last-minute decision, he waited till the actual moment the croupier spun the ball. With the ball making its first 2 circuits around the wheel, Ashley made his choice. I asked to kiss the ball, he remembered. Then I just said red and pushed all my chips onto it. Then silence. The world faded out. Ashley described it as stepping into a vacuum of silence. Just him, the wheel, and the terrifying realization. If the ball landed on black, he would be left with nothing. No money, no plan, no backup. I could lose everything, he thought in the moment. The ball landed on red. Obviously, it was going to be a good story. The silence broke into pure chaos, relief, elation, euphoria, and possibly a minor heart attack. It was just crazy, Ashley said. In that moment, I doubled my money. I was just thinking, thank God, and don't ever do that again, which, to his credit, he didn't. While many asked him why he didn't ride the high and go again, Ashley didn't hesitate. I shouldn't have done it again. I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And now, when he watches the old footage back, he doesn't see a brave risk-taker. I just see an arrogant twit, he laughed. Part of me hopes he loses. Spoiler, he didn't, but he definitely wouldn't recommend it. Red or black, baby.
Red or black. Or do you go green?
Yeah, a little bit higher payout if you go green, but a little bit less chance in that one. But
I like supporting the casinos and whatnot via losing.
Yeah. Well, he was close.
It keeps me from being addicted to gambling, knowing that my money is going to a good cause.
Yeah, there you go. Going to hopefully renaming some of these teams back to their original names. That's for sure. But yeah. I think that brings me to all the good ones I had compiled. I still got a few other ones too for next week, but yeah, we'll kick those over because we got to get Aaron Bearden on the line because I hadn't talked to him in what feels like a month. You guys listen to the Inside Drive. That was our Friday version of the Afternoon Delight debrief. Some good, some bad, some weird. That's how we like to keep it here on the Inside Drive. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3. We'll be right back.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Likely thunderstorms and some sun the rest of the day with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour coming out of the south-southwest, and look for it to be 85. Tonight, there will be partly cloudy skies with the temperature reaching 79. Partly sunny in the morning, but otherwise likely thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 85. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. This is not for the casual fan. This is for the warriors. This is for the legends.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City Beach, and of course all of our beautiful surrounding areas. We're getting Aaron Bearden on the line as we speak. Don't forget, coming up tonight after the Afternoon Underdogs, you got Braves coverage starting at 6 p.m. First pitch, 6:15 start tonight against those Philadelphia Phillies in a huge 3-game series. We got him on the line. It's been a while since we talked. Aaron, how are you doing, my friend?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're J-less on this Friday, so it's always a little more sad when that's the case. But we'll get him back on the 11th. We'll have a little break for the 4th of July next Friday. Hard to believe. When you hit 4th of July, it almost feels like you're halfway through the summer already. And school will be happening right around the week. Obviously, it's been a long time since I've had a chance to talk to you. What are some of the big new things that have come into the shop over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, Top Series 2 has come out. That's a really big one. In fact, the Mega Boxes just came out, I believe, this past week.
Nice.
Wild Card put out Prehistoric Football, which is really cool. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's football players on cards with dinosaurs, with these really cool, colorful, sort of psychedelic-looking dinosaur cards. They've been a big hit because they've got Patrick Mahomes autos in the product,
Nice.
in addition to a lot of other great signers. Topps Chrome Basketball has just come back out. It's the first time we've seen some Chrome Basketball. We had a long break there of, I don't know, close to 10 years with no Topps Chrome Basketball.
Dang.
And some Topps finest soccer just hit the market this week too, as well as some UFC product. I just noticed. I just got in the shop a little bit ago today, so they're kind of showing me some of the new stuff that was out. So yeah, some new UFC product as well. So kind of no matter what sport you're into, there's something new for it.
Yeah, sounds like it. And
come check out.
Topps Chrome, that pretty much covers most of the major professional sports now at this point, with basketball being back.
Yeah, and Topps going forward, Chrome is sort of going to be like the gold standard. It's not going to be the top-end, most expensive product, but it's going to be kind of the thing. If you want a good, solid investment, a good rookie to hang on to or something, Topps Chrome is going to be out there, whether it's, the baseball, football, basketball, UFC, whatever, or even into Topps other offerings like Star Wars and Disney and things like that. Topps Chrome is going to be there as kind of the anchor.
Yeah, kind of like
a
their
lot of those releases.
flagship product, so to speak, something along those lines.
Yeah, it'll be a step above just your base Topps Series 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And like I said, even those non-sports things, they're going to come out with something similar to a rookie card like you'd have in sports. It would basically be, say, a new character in Star Wars or a Disney movie or something. They'll have a more or less a rookie card that will come out in Topps Chrome.
Nice. Very
so,
cool.
yeah, it's definitely something to have in the collection.
In addition to all these new releases, the big events that y'all do, the Topps Rip Night, has that all transpired this month in June already?
Yes, for June it has. Rip Night will be back on July 19th. That's a Saturday night at 5 p.m.
Awesome. And remind everybody about those Rip Nights,
because
that's such a great time for everybody, people of all ages, to come out to the Rip Night.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun, and just there's so much stuff that gets opened on Rip Night. In between the pack wars, the box breaks, a lot of deals and discounts that we do. There's so much gets open. There's always great cards popping out on Rip Night.
Remind me again,
cool
what pack wars are. I always kind of forget, and then I have to be reminded to get it stuck in my brain.
Yeah, so we do a game called Pack Wars. It's sort of a modified version of the Pack Wars that have been around a long time. But basically, everybody buys in, and they get the same packs. We select one of those packs and call it out, and we've got a little randomizer wheel for something we're looking for within that pack. So everybody opens their pack up, and we're all looking for, say, the tallest player, or who's got the most cards of people in blue jerseys, or something like that, or lowest card number. And whoever wins, we've got a prize for that, which could be additional cards, could be some swag, some memorabilia, stored gift cards, something like that. So, yeah, there's always something to give out for that. And everybody keeps their cards. There's versions of Pack Wars where it's sort of like,
you lose the cards.
Winner take all kind of thing. But no, you're paying for the cards. You keep them all. We're just trying to see who's got the thing to get the prize.
Well, that is a fun way to open some packs and have some fun. No doubt about that. I'll try to remember that going forward.
And you don't have to know anything at all about cards. Last month, a lady came with her son, and she won a couple of rounds of Pack Wars and got some really cool prizes. And the son's really the card collector, but all she had to know was, look at the back of the card and see what the card number is. We're looking for the highest number. She's like, well, I got card 399 or whatever. It's like, well, it's a 400 card set. Nobody had card 400, so she won.
Yep, awesome.
So, and then we always switch the prizes up. Sometimes it's based on stuff that, say Topps or somebody will send us for the event, and sometimes it's just stuff we throw in. So we had some little mystery packs last time people could select from, and I think she ended up getting a pretty cool Michael Jordan insert card from the 90s. It was like about a $25 or $30 card.
Nice.
For one of the rounds she won.
Highest number card. Yeah. Cool stuff. Aaron, I'm assuming, I don't know this for a fact, that you went to the Fanatics card show up in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we
with
were
that
invited as guests of Fanatics.
Awesome.
To go to it, yep.
Tell our listeners a little bit about what you kind of come across and what's so fun about these big car shows.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Fanatics Fest in New York last weekend is it's not really just a card show per se. It's really just about sports fandom.
Yeah.
So there was a section for cards, but there were also, equally big or bigger sections for people that make, sports merchandise and apparel and just different brands that were there showing off things. So there were, companies like New Era, for example, was there, and they had caps for everything you could imagine, but you could also get custom-made caps there at the show while you waited. And, companies that make the wrestling championship belts, that they do the different branded teams on it, so you could get a New York Giants wrestling belt or a Dodger wrestling belt or whatever. They were there. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff in addition to the cards. A lot of people were there doing their podcasts with athletes and a lot of celebrities running around. So, yeah, it was just sort of a celebration of just sports fandom, more so than just cards.
If I recall correctly, I think I saw some stuff on social media of Livy Dunn buying like a very rare Paul Skeens card, and there was a lot of media and attention around her. Just thought it was kind of funny, her, fiance, and buying one of his, I think it was a 1 of 2 or something like that, one of his rookie cards. So
I did not see her. I saw, we saw like Wade Boggs, Tom Brady. I was about 10 or 15 feet away from Brady. C.J. Stroud, Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav's always at different stuff.
Yeah, and he was actually, while we were in New York, the next night, he was about 5 blocks from our hotel judging the air guitar championship.
Of course he was.
So, yeah, if there's a good time to be had, Flavor Flav's probably the guy to call.
No doubt.
So, but that's really what it was. There were a lot of neat things on display. There were a lot of athletes, uniforms and, personal items like that on display. Some of the biggest cards, the Paul Skeens debut patch card that caused such a fuss last year.
Yeah,
that was on display.
Nice.
And the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold, that was on display. So a lot of things like that were out there, and a lot of the athletes were there signing autographs if you wanted to buy a ticket and wait in line for that as well. So, and then while we were there, we went to a couple of Yankees games and got to do a really, really cool special event at Yankee Stadium where we got to go kind of behind the scenes before one of the games and hit Monument Park and all that, but also got to hold and photograph some Yankees artifacts. So we got some footage of like me holding up one of Babe Ruth's uniforms and a bat, Mickey Mantle's contract, one of Aaron Judge's bats, I think one of Jeter's jerseys. A lot of that cool stuff they brought out. We had to put on white gloves. And,
yeah.
But they let us do all that for our TV show, so that'll be coming up on the Card Shop show here pretty soon.
Sweet. So you had a little film crew go up there with you?
Yeah, just real small, but yeah. And just like I said, made a weekend of it, hit a Broadway show, and just did a lot of fun things while we were there. Like I say, went to 2 games, Yankees and Orioles. Got to see Aaron Judge hit a home run on Aaron Judge Superman bobblehead night.
Of course.
So,
you kind of have to on your Superman bobble night if it's your own person.
If they're going to give away a figure with your face on it dressed up as the Man of Steel, you got to show up for that game.
Absolutely. I know the Yankees
I think you...
Go ahead.
So, what's that?
Good. I was just going to say something random I saw today about the Yankees that you might get a kick out of.
Yeah, Judge was great that game. He was like 2 for 3 or 3 for 3 with a homer and a couple of walks. They lost that when then the next day was the one hitter against Baltimore, which may be the hottest baseball game I've ever been to. It was insane. I saw people passing out from the heat. It was crazy.
You got to be careful at baseball stays with that. That is for sure. I did see what I was going to mention is I saw that I think coming up later in July, they're doing a George Costanza Bobble Night, which I'm a big Seinfeld fan.
I did see that.
And it's like him in his desk, under his desk, like that episode where he was sleeping, and then they heard the clock, so they brought in the bomb squad and all that stuff. So nice to see that they still got ties to the Seinfeld show, which was certainly one that I wish they were still doing in this day and age. But in this day and age, you can't really do that kind of stuff anymore, unfortunately. But
they had the Yankees World Series trophies out on display for us. We weren't allowed to pick them up, but we did get to photograph them. They were telling us some stuff about them, and one of them, I guess, was the one they used in the Seinfeld episode.
Nice.
So
nice.
They definitely, they haven't forgotten what George Costanza did as a member of the Yankees front office.
Yeah, scouting extraordinaire. He made the cotton uniforms come back, I think, or there was polyester in the game. Anyway, a couple more questions for you, Aaron. If you were to add one fictional athlete to a card set, who would it be?
Man, that's a great question. We talk about like Babe Ruth because he could pitch and hit, and Ohtani can certainly pitch and hit. What about the guy that played all 9 positions at one time? Talking about Mr. Bugs Bunny.
Ah, yes, he was a pretty good athlete.
How about that? And I thought too, no, Jay's not here, man. But what about one of Jay's favorites, Bobby Boucher?
Yeah,
one of the legendary tacklers of all time.
Like to see him out there in a SEC uniform. That'd be pretty fun. That's a great one.
Get his NIL thing, be on a Topps Chrome card. One I have to go with because I've met him a couple of times. Really great guy. And somebody, just an athlete, they don't traditionally put on cards, man. What about Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid?
The Karate Kid, yeah. Get us a little
great guy.
Topps Chrome Karate Edition. That'd be fantastic. David, you got any athletes that come to mind about a fictional athlete being put into a real card set kind of thing? The one that came to my mind, Happy Gilmore getting on some PGA Tour cards, and they may already have that or not, but obviously, especially with the new movie coming out here next month. So
Bugs Bunny and Space Jam.
Yeah, that's a good. He had Bugs Bunny in baseball, but Bugs Bunny in Space Jam 2 is one that I kind of thought of pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, I mean any Adam Sandler character for sure would be great. Yeah,
I really like Bobby Boucher. That's probably my favorite answer to that question.
Dual auto Tweety Bird, Larry Bird.
There you go.
Make it happen.
That would be fun, no doubt about it. Aaron, I'm going to kind of do a little different thing here called Sleeve It or Leave It. Kind of some rapid fire questions and just kind of some different things that we came up with here. First one is junk wax. Nostalgic or trash?
Nostalgic if it's the right product. There's some, that whole junk era, not everything was junk.
Yeah.
There's some things like 88 Topps baseball. There's nothing in it. It's never going to be worth a bunch of money. But there's some real winners. 87 baseball, man, loaded rookie class, man. Maddox, Bonds, McGuire, Barry Larkin, all these players in 87. You can still have some fun with some of that stuff. 89 Upper Deck, get you a Griffey rookie.
Ooh.
There
you go.
So, yeah. Yeah, it is nostalgic if it's the right product.
Gotcha. It's a little asterisk there with the nostalgic side of things.
Yeah.
Signed card or game-worn patch?
For value, signed card. Yeah. Definitely. But there are some amazing patches out there. But, all things being equal, I'm going to say signed card.
Gotcha. Yeah, obviously, definitely some more value because it's the signature of the player. But there's some pretty, as you mentioned, like the NFL logo on some of these patches that make it into cards. You say when you find that's certainly worth a good bit more as well.
Yeah, and Panini does some of the collegiate ones where they have some of those various bowl games. And I think like maybe Immaculate or something like that, they put some of those bowl patches into, and those are very colorful, great patches. Cool so, cards. Yeah, there's some of those. If you really like a player, you like a team or something, you got to have that in your collection. But in general, I think we're going to say signed cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of signed cards, better signature, Shaq or Patrick Mahomes?
For value, Mahomes all day long.
Yeah.
Shaq's signature is not a big money, and part of that is because Shaq is a generous signer. He signs a lot of autographs for his fans. And neither one of them, to me, look great as signatures go, but they are both heavily stylized to the point that authenticating them is a little easier than, if they just scribbled a line or an initial on there.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, neither one of them's a really awesome-looking signature. But, yeah, Mahomes certainly for the value.
Yeah, no doubt on that one. All right, next we've got most underrated player in the card market today. That's a tough one.
If I'm gonna start with baseball,
okay,
I think Bobby Witt. I think you can't go wrong there. The guy is just such a great all-around player. I don't think we've seen his power develop like it may down the road, but he's contact hitter, defensive player. And kind of he's in a division people don't watch that much. So I think there's good potential to still pick up Bobby Witt. And this is going to sound crazy, man. Shohei Ohtani. I know his cards, everybody knows about Ohtani. His cards are already kind of up there. But what are they going to be, 10 more seasons of him doing this?
Yep, absolutely. When he finishes his MLB career and retires, what is it going to be like then? It's a great point.
Wish you could go back and buy him for the $100 or $200 right now. But I'm going to go with another guy people are probably not thinking of, particularly in this area, because baseball and football, even basketball, they're kind of big here. But beyond that, Lamine Yamal. If you anybody out there, we've seen what this guy is doing, and I don't follow soccer.
I was going to say that's soccer, right? Because I've heard my son talk about him a lot. But
he was a 17-year-old who scored in the World Cup.
Yeah, for Portugal. Yeah, and he's
Spain, I believe.
Yes,
Spain.
Yes,
Spain.
All kind of marks already for stuff he has done for being, the youngest to reach this or that plateau and, youngest ever to score in this kind of, competition and all that. Being compared to Pele and, all those guys by the time he was 16 years old. There's another guy that, man, if that continues, you've got some premium soccer cards right now. Topps has got a soccer license. And they've been putting out Chrome cards and stuff like that of this guy. They may be a great value compared to, again, what this guy's career going to look like in 10 years.
No doubt. That's a great one. That's my favorite. I like the Ohtani answer, too, just because, he is unbelievable, but what does 10, 15 years look like down the road? But the soccer kid that's fantastic. So, great one.
Lamine Yamal, in 10 years, he's going to be 27 years old. I mean, that's sort of like prime era for athletes, He'll have a Hall of Fame career.
He'll actually be an adult at that point, and his body would have fully developed. So, I mean, it's like, Ronaldo getting paid $4.7 million a week now with his new base salary with Al Assir. Next one, who is more collectible, MJ, Kobe, or LeBron?
I'm going to go MJ on that. With the caveat, I know there's some expensive Kobe and LeBron cards out there. I know there's, like LeBron 101, this or that sold for $1 million or whatever. But when Jordan was out, particularly say that first year or two, people were not really looking at basketball cards the way they do now. So there are fewer cards, and a lot of them just weren't taken care of. Plus, he's Jordan. Yeah. LeBron can break every record Jordan has ever set, and you can argue that on court, he may surpass Jordan. What Jordan did for the sport of basketball, nobody else can really do. He brought it up to the level of the MLB and the NFL as far as something Americans view and follow and all that. That was Jordan.
Yeah, that's a great
by
point.
the time LeBron came along, it was already there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
MJ kind of transcended the NBA and the game of basketball.
Sure. So I would go Jordan. Although nothing wrong with having good LeBron pieces or good Kobe pieces. Things just Kobe rookies. 90s basketball. It's kind of overproduced. You got to spend a little more and get some of those kind of harder to find Kobe rookies, and to some extent with LeBron too.
Gotcha. Couple more real quick before we let you go. This might be a question I feel like I've asked in the past. Worst autograph you've ever seen. Initials don't count.
I'm going to tell you why that's a tough one, because usually the guys with the really, really bad signatures, for whatever reason, they don't necessarily stick around. We see it a lot with football rookies. Some of those guys are terrible, and then they're out of the league, or they're just not the guys who are getting the sign. Worst, household name auto, pulling a sticker auto for Mike Tyson. Iron Mike knows how to punch. He has not gotten where the sticker ends, And so his signature is like 3 times bigger than the sticker, and it just sort of looks like a seismograph going haywire.
Gotcha. Kind of coming off that sticker a little bit.
Yeah, you rarely get the full signature, but I understand. I don't know anybody who's going to tell Iron Mike he's got bad penmanship.
Yeah, no doubt, unless you want a knuckle sandwich, as they used to say.
Yeah, so if you're trying to send him in to get graded, that's going to be a tough one to get a high grade on his signature.
Gotcha. What's a card you're tired of seeing?
Overhyped insert cards, non-numbered inserts. And I mean things like downtowns out of Donruss or Optic, or Kaboom cards. These that have an appeal to a certain type of collector, usually newer, younger collectors, because they're hearing breakers really hype these cards up. They do have some value, but they're very, very plentiful compared to what they were 6 or 7 years ago when they used to be scarce and used to sell for tons of money. We're seeing them sell for like 20% of what they used to sell for. And again, they're non-numbered inserts. They can make as many as they want. And, you know, you have no idea. If you buy one the week the product comes out and you go, hey, I got, Jaden Daniels downtown and, I paid X amount for it. Fine, but they're going to keep printing them in those retail boxes. They could print 4 times as many by the time the year's over. And suddenly that card's worth, like I said, 10 or 20% of what you paid for it.
Yeah, so great point there.
And anybody who thinks those are big, man, ask somebody who was in this in the 90s about non-numbered insert cards. Because there were tons of them, everybody was looking for back in 1996, 97, that you can't get rid of now unless you find another old-time collector that was trying to put a set together.
Yeah. So the downtowns, the Kabooms in this day and age, you're tired of seeing those.
The online breakers are trying to push. The reason they're trying to push them to you is because that's what they have to sell.
Absolutely. Last but not least, before we let you go, biggest myth about sports cards you would want to bust right now?
Oh, man, so many. Number one, unlicensed as a term in cards. We hear this all the time. This is something people push online. Panini Baseball, they're unlicensed, or Topps Football, it's unlicensed. That's not how that works. If they were unlicensed, they'd be illegal. They'd get sued for making them. Mm-hmm. Having a Players Association license is different from having a league license to put, New York or St. Louis on a jersey. And truthfully, having a player license is better because you can put the player's picture on there.
Yeah.
For decades, that's how cards were made. All those great, expensive vintage cards, most of them were quote-unquote unlicensed. Truth is, long-term collectors don't care. Yeah. They're looking at the card, the scarcity, who the player is, that sort of thing. That's a thing newer collectors have gotten fed by the internet without really checking. The other, PSA. I could rail on PSA all day. People just assume they're the best because they're the biggest. Well, the best restaurant in America probably isn't the fast food chain with the most locations, even though they're the biggest. Doesn't mean they're the best food. PSA, they make a ton of mistakes. They do a lot of things that they should do better with regard to their pricing structure and just a lot of things in general they miss on cards. Truthfully, all grading companies, they make mistakes. They're human.
Yeah.
It's a little silly, this idea that, one is infallible. Regardless of whatever your favorite grading company is, they can all make mistakes. Buy the card. Don't buy the label.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of cards out there. They graded. Card looked great. It was a 10. They give it a 10, and the guy goes to put it in the case, and he drops it, and he dings the corner up. Rather than him call his boss and get in trouble for messing up your card, he's probably going to put it in the case anyway and seal it, send it back to you. There are people out there that'll buy it because it says it's a 10 on the label. But do you really want to pay a 10 price for a card with a, badly dinged corner? I don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So buy the card. Don't buy necessarily the label. But yeah, just the idea that there's one supreme grading company just because you've heard about them the most.
Yeah.
Do the research,
Well, Aaron, I appreciate your time. We ran a little long, but it's been a long time since we talked, so I appreciate you coming on. And next Friday, we got the 4th of July, so next time we'll be back on a Friday will be July 11th, getting ever so closer to that Topps Rip Night. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and MLB All-Star Game somewhere around that time, too.
Yeah, so absolutely.
A lot to talk about.
Acuna in the Home Run Derby. Aaron, we appreciate it, and have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. You guys do the same. Take care. Everybody come see us.
Absolutely. Quick break. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive final segment. We're going to talk some of the divisional odds. We're not picking. We're just going to talk about some of the divisional odds right now for NFL futures. You're listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straightaway center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now in stock at Tommy Otto's.
2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. Luxury at a value price. $13,995 or a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport with one owner. Sporty and affordable. $11,995 at Tommy Otto's.
Buy here, pay here. Financing options available. Everyone is approved. Tommy Otto's, 2209 West 15th Street, Panama City. 850-960-8664. For the latest deals and specials, follow Tommy Otto's on Facebook. Add tag, tax, and title.
Jason Mulder, owner of Bestway Portable Buildings, reminds you to celebrate this 4th of July. And be thankful for living in the greatest country in the world with unlimited opportunities at our fingertips. Bestway Portable Buildings, the best in portable period, and a thankful Golden Age builder. North of the Old Mall on Highway 231 and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. Spreads, picks, and parlays. Get the breaking news, insider angles, and expertise so you can run your game.
I told y'all to run that.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive. Final segment today. Going to be a quick one, but we're going to talk some odds real quick and ask David Hayes some questions, too, about these odds. I will start with the Super Bowl 60 winner. That's in Santa Clara, California. Who do you think's got the best odds to win the Super Bowl? It's kind of a trick question because there's more than one.
Yeah, it's what? Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles?
Close. Ravens, Eagles, Bills. But the Chiefs are only 50.
That's just because people are tripping still.
That's right.
Like they didn't make it. They did get blown out in the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about that.
Making it is hard enough as it is. Yes, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Bills all plus 700. The Kansas City Chiefs plus 750, followed by the Detroit Lions at plus 900. The Washington Commanders and the San Francisco 49ers plus 1750. So get those bets in there now, and you get you something to root for all season long. All right, we will go with the divisional. Start with the AFC South. David, who's got the best odds?
Texans.
Yes, Texans plus 110, followed by the Jags, Colts, and Tennessee Titans at plus 750. AFC West, kind of a no-brainer in that one.
I'll go with the Las Vegas Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs minus 115. Broncos and Chargers both plus 300. And then those Las Vegas Raiders way back there at plus 1750.
That's what we should do is I should guess best odds and worst odds.
All right, well, here we go. This is actually an easy one to do it for. The AFC North.
AFC North. I'll go with Ravens best odds.
Correct.
And
minus
worst odds, Cleveland Browns.
Plus 3,000.
Second would be Bengals. Third would be Steelers.
Correct. Bengals plus 230. Third, Pittsburgh Steelers plus 550. The Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of crazy times going into this year. A lot of players moving around this offseason, so make sure you get ready for your fantasy football seasons and know what teams players are on. The AFC East. This is another one that's pretty
easy. So Bills at the top.
Yep.
At the bottom is going to be the Jets.
Yes, Bills minus 260, Jets plus
Dolphins
750.
second.
No, Dolphins are
Patriots
not. That's why I was
second.
hoping. Patriots plus 500 to win their division. Miami plus 600 to win the AFC.
Say those two again real quick, second and third.
So Patriots plus 500, Dolphins plus 600.
A whole 100 points is kind of wild to me. If anything, I mean, that's really coming down to the no faith in Tua to stay healthy. So,
yeah. And a lot of people think the Patriots are going to be a lot better this year.
Yep.
Obviously,
I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they've done a good job this offseason.
Well, you know how it was last year about the Vikings?
Yep.
I'm not on that level with the Patriots, but I'm more. I think I'm to the level of where people thought the Bears would be last year. That's where the Patriots are. Like, I think they could be a playoff team for real.
No doubt. I totally agree, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. The NFC South, first and second, I mean, first and last.
Last is pretty easy.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
Bucks.
Yes.
Bucks to be the leader. Saints
plus
to
100.
be
Yes.
the bottom.
Plus 1,100.
I would go, since you made that noise, like the weird way would be for the Panthers to be second and the Falcons to be third, but I would still say Falcons second, right. Panthers third.
Falcons plus 240, Panthers plus 400, which really isn't
That's
far
not bad.
off. It's only plus 300 more.
That shows me that they're having faith in Bryce Young to continue his kind of emergence.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe this is a big year for Bryce Young coming up. The NFC West. This one's, close. All the way from top to bottom.
I'm going to say 49ers are the favorite.
They are at plus 155.
I'll say your bottom dweller. Oh, that's easy. Arizona.
No. Seattle.
Yeah, that's stupid.
But the difference between first and last is plus 155 and plus 550.
Oh, so they're close. But still, Arizona, come on now.
Yeah.
What have we seen from them?
Nothing. I think they're just worried about quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Seattle,
I get that, but I mean,
still,
let's look at what Sam Darnold did last year. Now, don't expect him to go 14-3 or whatever it may be.
A little bit different
13-4.
talent around him there in Minnesota, but
still, I think we're looking at a possible 10-win team.
Yeah.
A possible 10-win team. Can you see possibly 10 wins from the Cardinals?
No. I mean, they started getting some momentum last year, but I just still don't trust Kyler Murray. But yeah, Niners plus 155, Rams plus 180, and I think that's very fair. And then the Cardinals at plus 450, followed by the Seahawks at plus 550.
Yeah.
NFC North. This is the closest one out of all the divisions as far as top to bottom.
Still going to be the Lions on the top.
Plus
and the bottom's still going to be the Bears.
Plus 475.
And then second's going to be the Packers.
Correct. Plus 260.
And then third will be the Vikings.
Plus 400. Absolutely. And then last but not least, the NFC East. That one is the favorite in that one.
NFC East, Philly.
Yes.
Number one.
Minus 140.
Oh, number 4 here. It's got to be the Giants.
It is. Plus 2,000.
Now, where does Vegas like? Are they going with the brand or are they going with the surprise team from last year?
I've really got a feeling not that close.
That because of the coaching staff being retained, Jaden Daniels, everything he brings to the table, new coaching staff over there in Dallas, I'm going to go 2 Commanders, 3 Cowboys.
No doubt. Commanders plus 200, Cowboys plus 700. And then obviously those New York Football Giants plus 2,000. Those are your divisional odds for the NFL season coming up in, what did I say? A little under 70 days, right? Is this NFL?
Yeah.
It's 68 days. 68 days.
Taking it all.
That's literally like next week.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it. Would you say, we won't have you back on air until July 11th? I'm like, golly, that's,
Yeah. I mean, July 4th is next Friday. We will not be on the air here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And we've also got to end the show today. You got the Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m., followed by your Atlanta Braves taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Coverage starts at 6, first pitch at 6:15. Y'all have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday for me.
Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up!
Call or text the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida with your rants, hot takes, picks, and takedowns.
This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama!